ERP systems, and we have a very special guest here today. We are so lucky that Prof Olive, I call you Prof Olive. Is
That's
that okay?
100%.
You can call me
100%.
Prof Dr. Prinavin, right? Okay, have joined us, and she's the new head of department. Ma'am, when did you join us? It was a couple of months ago.
The 2nd of April.
2nd of April, 2nd of
Yes.
April. So, well, we're in May and June, and so I'm so happy this is your second month. Normally, we get the head of department to meet us at the very beginning of the semester, and we have orientation with the students. I think you missed that, ma'am. So I'm so happy that it is here. I've got some of my students. Please come closer the ma'am can see you. We have a class on a Saturday, ma'am, just to give you some background. I teach IT, information technology. And even though I'm the e-learning rep in the faculty, I like to do it online. Not online, I like to do it face-to-face. And we also cater for the students that are in Joburg. I don't see Bongani here, but he'll watch the video. And some people are in Pietermaritzburg and Maryland, Tonga, wherever. So my aim, or one of the objectives, is for you to introduce yourself, give us a brief rundown of the accounting, auditing, tax department, and the postgraduate diploma, and for you to inform them how important it is and what are the criteria for them to continue further. Maybe they want to become a master's or a PhD graduate, and how you use the postgraduate qualifications mark. I know there's something about that 60% rule, and talk to us a little bit about the capacity for next year. I know I may not be too soon in this because students need to know that they need to work very hard. And I can tell you, all my students are hardworking students. Can you see them here on a Saturday? So with that, I'll leave it up to you. Go ahead. We are very open. If my students may just disturb you to talk, but they are respectful as well.
That's fine.
Or you can ask us a question or two and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
There's Sydney. Thank you, Sydney. You're late, Sydney. Ma'am's here.
Sydney, why are you late?
There, the prof is here.
Sydney, why are you
Hello.
late? Why are you
Hello.
late?
I'm not late. I'm just 2 minutes late. I'm not late.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right. I'll tell you about Sydney and how he helps me with the ITSS, ma'am. SAP S4HANA logins. I think we need to get him to come and work for us at DUT. Okay. Go ahead. Ma'am, it's all yours, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, students. And you got me out of bed quite early this morning on a Saturday. Now, I've been reading emails since 6 o'clock, so I also know that work never sleeps. So I'm the new HOD. I'm Professor Olive Stumke. I worked 14 years at Northwest University. I've got my PhD in accounting, and my passion is linking IT with the profession. That is what I'm passionate about, because everyone has a fear that robots will take over our roles as accountants, auditors, etc. But that's not the case. The people that will take our jobs are those that are adapting through the use of IT in our profession. So if you just want to do the normal pen to paper, you're going to be replaced by individuals like yourself that has now been introduced and exposed to IT in the profession. So I think you are in the best position. Not even the universities, I can tell you where I come from, have such a passionate IT department and then lecturer that you're experiencing this year that links the IT to the profession. So I want to really encourage you guys to tap into the knowledge that's available to you, and to make sure that you take that into the profession, because it's invaluable. I can't tell you how important it is that you just take IT as it is and you plug it into anything that's auditing, accounting, tax, all of those modules. So just in general, you guys have now gone through many years of study. You're now at the postgraduate level. So what's next? Do you just want to go into industry, or do you want to pursue a master's or a PhD? Now, as you know, it's the postgrad. You need to have at least 60% for us to even consider you to do a master's degree. You can do a master's. There are various fields, but we lack the supervision capacity. At this stage in the Department of Auditing and Tax, it's me and Dr. Asogan. We are 2 people. He's got 4 masters and 4 PhDs, 1 person that needs to supervise that. And I now have, I'm going to enroll 3 master students, and I also have 3 PhD students. So the process and how it works is you're going to apply to do your masters. You do a concept note. So you're going to write up a little story, but it needs to be in a specific format, your background, your introduction, methodology, etc. You guys are introduced to methodology as well. And then we decide whose is the best. So I also think it's important that you guys start writing now. Don't wait until next year. And the department, you can always come to me and I will assist where I can so that we can start shaping and molding your research proposal for next year so that you don't have issues and trying to figure out what to write about. And then that is of such quality that we cannot do anything except you, and then we can continue our journey together. So as I mentioned, it's only me and Dr. Asogan that are available in our department to do supervision, because the requirement is you need to have a PhD. We are building our capacity. We've got 6 staff members that are busy with their PhDs. So in a year or 2, that capacity might grow. I'm just thinking, what else do you want to know from me? Is there anything specific you guys want to ask me? I'm new at DUT. I don't know all the processes yet. I'm figuring it out as I go. But when it comes to research, I'm very passionate. So I'm always there to assist, and I want to encourage that you guys do the masters and PhDs, because that's how we figure out what's going on out there and how to solve a problem that we've identified. So I'm open for questions.
Sydney, come. Sydney's got a question.
Yes, Sydney.
No. Sydney, Letu, come. Letu told me he wasn't coming this morning. He said, come, ask a question. Don't ask a question about subs and all of it. Come.
No, I think she covered everything we need to know.
Okay.
Letu?
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm okay. My name is Leto. We spoke before. I met you when we were writing a forensic audit. Yes, I think you have covered everything I really needed to know. Thank you so much for your time and the explanations.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Okay. Please, you've got the opportunity to speak to the head of departments. Come. Do you have a question? What's the fees? I want to know. Ma'am, I want to know about the fees for masters, ma'am. Do you know about that, and whether they get a bursary, and if they are excellent students, whether they need to pay anything or not, ma'am?
You always have to pay. Nothing in life is free.
Oh. There we go. So you'll better start saving up, right? Okay.
I'm sorry, Prinavin. Now you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, I don't have the fees.
I'm
with
sorry.
me. No, I'll have to go
No.
look that up. But I can put something together for you guys, and then I'll send it to your lecturer, and he can post it on Moodle for you, or the platform that you guys use.
Thank you. No, the reason I'm telling them, ma'am, they have to start saving from now. They've got 6 months to save up for their deposit. They mustn't come to me in January and say, sir, I can't register because I don't have fees, right?
You guys,
but if they do.
Yes, you guys need to understand the profession that you are in. You need to start living those values. Like DUT expecting you to be accountable and adaptive, etc. You now need to know that you're in the auditing profession. You need to make sure that all your documentation is in line with the requirements. So as your lecturer mentioned, you can't come in Jan and say, I don't have fees. Auditors need to plan. We need to plan for the unexpected, and you're going into that profession now. So you can't be a professional and not live the values. So that's something you guys need to understand. I always say when students, I'm not saying you guys are cheaters, but when accounting and auditing students cheat, I'm like, but you are studying to be a professional that has ethical values. Why do you not live those values? So as soon as you start studying towards a profession, you need to start living those values. So be proactive. If you start living it now, it will be easier when you get into practice.
Great. My online students, there's 24 people online, ma'am. Can you see that more online than in the class? Online students, we want to, do you have any questions for ma'am? Go ahead, just unmute and ask the question, or even in the chat, post it in the chat. I think someone has posted a question in the chat.
Someone said you need to oh, there's a chat. No, just confirm receipt.
Okay. That's all right. Ma'am, what areas of research can our students get into, ma'am, for the auditing taxation students? What is Dr. Mudley's area of interest that a student could fit into, ma'am?
You know, it is so broad that anything that just links to a tax or an internal audit, and that can be anything. It can even be the education side, but less education and more. Because my PhD, I incorporated IT into the development of professionals. So that speaks to the training. So you can even go there, but find something that hasn't been done to death yet, because I feel a lot of our students are doing the SMEs. It's been researched to death. And then, of course, what's important is the public sector. So find something that's not recurring and find another angle. So I don't want to limit you into a certain direction, because any idea that you have, we can find the angle that fits into our department, but it needs to be an audit or a tax. If it's accounting based, how to value an asset, or the financial statement preparation and the classification of assets and so forth, that's more accounting. But still, you can do financial statements, internal auditing, corporate governance. Do you see how it can be accounting and auditing? And then it can still be financial statements, how do you calculate your tax? And then again, it's accounting and tax. So anything you want to do, come to us, and then let's guide you into what is the angle so that you can fit into our department. I hope that helps.
Of course, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Please. I do have some other latecomers.
There's a question online. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Put your
so
camera on so we can see who we're talking to. We're missing you.
oh, I know I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot open my camera. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is, will it be possible for me to? Okay, currently I'm doing my postgrad in internal auditing.
Yes.
Would it be possible for me to do, if I wanted to pursue my master's and I change into doing my master's in accounting?
Yes, you can, because they require, if I can quickly, I just want to get the handbook. I actually checked my facts before we started. Any postgrad in, let me just go up there. I just want to read it to you so any master's, you need at least a postgrad or an honors in financial accounting, management accounting, tax, or auditing. So the same requirement for our masters will be the requirement for accounting, will be the requirement for management accounting.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you want to know where that is, it's in your handbook, page 24, the department's handbook.
Yes.
Ma'am, Letu has a question.
Yes, Letu.
Yes, just one more question. So this year we're doing research and we're working on different topics. So is it fine if I take this topic that I'm using this year for my master's?
Yes. Yes, but I would suggest come to me earlier so that we can refine it. We don't want you to work on something for the sake of working on it, and next year you have to start over again because you've gone in the wrong direction. Who's your lecturer for the research again?
It's Mr. Ayodeji and Mrs. Mutana, both of them.
And I promise you, I've been communicating with him. Second semester, watch this space. We are taking the research to a next level. Okay, so you're in good hands.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh, I love that you talked about the next level, ma'am. Every year I want to get a research journal article out of my class, and I'd love to co-author with any of you and with my students. I want to take it up there. That's what postgraduate is all about, you know?
Yes.
So, Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am. It's about duration. When I supervise students, the other day, my student took 5 years to graduate. Okay, 2 years was with another supervisor, but 3 years with me. So can you talk to us about this duration and the commitment that a master's student has to give up to their studies so that they finish it in minimum time and they don't take 4, 5, 6, 7 years? Because by that time, the study or the work they're doing, is it valid in the accounting space or the auditing space? Ma'am, thank
Okay,
you.
So the DUT allows you, or it says you can be registered for 2 years, but there are no stricter rules in place yet to say we're going to deregister you after 2 years. But as mentioned, if you now conduct interviews in 2020, but you publish the findings in 2025, a lot can happen in 5 years. It just makes your study irrelevant. So why do something for the sake of doing it and not adding value? For me, I worked full time. I did my master's in 6 months. It is possible. So if you want to do master's full time, it should take you a year only. But also that is based on your commitment and then the commitment of your supervisor. So when you are a master's student, just keep this in mind. You need to manage the progress and the pace of the study. If you are laid back, that study is going to be laid back. There's no one that's going to phone you and tell you, why haven't I received this? Why haven't I received that? Because then you are the master of your destiny, not your supervisor. Your supervisor is there to facilitate. They're not there to manage or to push you. They are there to do their job when you give them something. So that's something you need to remember. When you want to do your master's, you need to be dedicated. You. But you also need to hold your supervisor accountable. It's a give-take relationship, but the giving is more from the student's side. And then your supervisor just need to facilitate. It's a very lonely journey, masters. So first of all, you need to be interested in the topic and you need to see the bigger picture. You're going to solve a problem. And also what I find is a lot of master students, you all know when we've got Miss World and Miss South Africa, that when they give their speeches, it needs to be world peace.
Yeah.
Do they ever get world peace, those beauty queens? No. So when you do your master's or your PhD, we will not change the world. So your study shouldn't be so broad that you are now going to maybe solve world hunger. You can just investigate what is a feasible option, but you will not solve it with your study. So that's something students need to remember, is that we don't go that broad. It needs to be a focused area, one single problem that you've identified, and you're going to investigate that or try and fix it. It's not fixing world hunger, please. I know we all want to fix it. It is a reality, but you won't do it with your master's unless it's a good master's. Any questions?
That's very motivational. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, that is so true. Students, just to help you, ma'am made a very good point.
Yeah.
You know, you need 3 research questions. We spoke about that, you know. So yeah, please ask. You have a wealth of knowledge here. You've got your head of department, who's not only head of department, but a supervisor, master, professor. She's a professor. I just got PhD. I'm not smart. Ask. Yes, we spoke about duration of the study, fees for the study, requirements to enter the master's program, topics.
I want to mention as well, if
Yes.
you guys are of such quality and we publish together, we can even take you to conferences as students.
Oh, I love that.
There are some
Yes.
of our students, there are 4 students that went to Chicago at the beginning of May in the USA. So I'm not promising you that I'll take you to the USA, but depending on where that conference, any conference I think is good, and you need to start local, but there's an opportunity beyond just writing an article or doing research, etc. It's an opportunity to get your voice out there and to collaborate and connect with other world experts. So that's also something you guys need to think about.
You know that confidence funding and going out. You know about the 4 students that went. Dr. Asog and Modley student.
Yeah.
Yes, 3. Oh,
Yeah, 3 of them went
Three of
in the end. Yeah.
and you, ma'am, let you, no, I like that. You set a target. Let you said he's going next year. And set
Okay.
yourself a target. You going next year. And ma'am, I have a contact in the research department. They have funding for conferences.
Yes.
So a student can apply for funding and DUT will pay for your conference registration, your travel, and I think they even give a subsistence as well, ma'am.
Yes.
Look at that, Letu. So there's
And
your
I will-
motivation.
And I will give you a DUT jacket.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, have a look,
Yes,
have a look,
yes.
have a look. Yay! Right. Ma'am, I just want to remind you that this is recorded, so we will hold you to that, right? Oh, okay, okay. Ma'am is going to give us a DUT jacket. Excellent. Please, we've got 10 more minutes or 8 more minutes of the call. Online students, ma'am, this is such a good turnout because the head of department is here. 34 people online. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 16 people. It's like my whole class is here.
Yes.
Wow, ma'am, you got to join us every Saturday, ma'am.
It's
Right,
because of your
Abdullah.
energy. It's not because of me.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Yes.
Okay. Please, you got 8 minutes. Go ahead. Ask me a question. Ask.
I want to
You can
ask you
understand.
guys a question.
Ma'am has a question for you. Yes.
What are your struggles that the department can help with? Again, I can't help with everything, and we all have our different struggles, but from a department point of view, what do you guys think we can do? Because your class rep did not have the opportunity to voice that in our meeting. Nothing.
No, nothing. We have the full support from the lecturers. They are supporting us.
Okay.
It's,
I'm
it's
glad.
perfect. Yes.
So please just write that on your LEQs and MEQs. Audit and tax is perfect.
Ah, lovely. Come on, if I was a student, ma'am, I'll ask for bursaries, I'll ask for free Wi-Fi, I'll ask for data, I'll ask for remission of fees.
I'm
Come
so
on,
glad you're not a student.
Yes, yes.
They'll think
Do
of
they
it.
have bursaries? Ma'am, Sydney wants
No,
to know
I-
if they have bursaries in the department, ma'am.
We always have money.
Yes, Sydney.
I was about to request that we get
Yes.
companies to sponsor us in our postgrad and internal auditing with regards to our fees. Would,
I'm just making a note, sorry.
would like to be supported in regards to that aspect.
Okay. I will take it up. We have a meeting with industry coming up, so I will voice that. Thank you.
Good point. That's a really good point, ma'am. I just want to remind you as well, the previous head of department, Dr. Jali, she went to a meeting with the auditors, and at the end of it all, they asked for a photograph of DUT alumni. Half the audience stood behind her because they were DUT graduates. So
Well done.
trust me, you go to Deloitte and Touche, KPMG, or any auditors firm, you're going to find that there are DUT graduates out there. And DUT students, graduates especially, they are very caring students. They want to take our students as well under their arm. Right? That's a good point. Quickly, I don't want to take up ma'am's time. It's a Saturday morning. And
No, it's fine. I'm just thinking, who of you were at the graduations?
who was at the grad?
Did no one graduate?
Were you at the grad? Yes, ma'am.
And online. It's too far. I can't see the faces.
Oh, okay. Come on, come closer. Come
Did you-
closer.
Did you see me in the first row?
Come on, talk to ma'am. Don't be shy.
No, I didn't see you.
Why not?
Oh, I was there too.
When?
The other day.
On that
All right.
day?
Yeah.
At 6 p.m.
When yours was Thursday.
I was there at 6 p.m.
Maybe they
It's
said.
okay, the nerves. It's
Okay,
fine.
okay. But ma'am was there to support you. Yes, ma'am.
But well done.
Thursday, 6 p.m. Ma'am's giving you congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Great. Yes, that's a lovely thing. So next year, these students will graduate. You know that. I've already shared my photos, graduation photos with them, ma'am, and the link to the grad. So they have something to look forward to. And ma'am, I'm telling you and on the recording, I only attend graduation if my students invite me, right? I've attended 3 this year. So if they don't invite me, we're not going to the grad. I'm just telling you, it's a, right? So they better, and they're also going to save up for their outfits as well, huh? Designer outfits and like. Quickly, anybody else with a quick question for ma'am?
No, it's really just
Yes.
stupid question.
No, never, never.
No
Don't
question
ever
is
say that.
stupid.
Don't ever say that.
So it's my first time doing research. So I've heard that sometimes you do research to support or you recognize the gaps, you know, and then come up with information. Or yeah, those two. So the first part where you support. So I don't understand the reason behind supporting the existing information. So maybe we can just clarify on that one. So why would you go and then waste your time to research for some and then at the end only conclude that no, I support this strategy, I support this corner. So
Okay.
I just need clarity behind that one.
It depends on the direction of your study, but remember, if you say what other people say and you quote them, it's research. If you say what other people say and you don't quote them, it's plagiarism. So that's what research is about. You have to see what other people have done to try and solve the problem. And either you're going to agree with them, or you're going to disagree, or you're going to have a different view, or you're going to come up with a different plan. That's what research is about. We can't just come up with a new issue. I always use the example when pharmaceutical companies do drug trials. Why did they develop that drug? Because there's an illness. Maybe the previous drugs did not cure that illness or help with whatever the disease is. So again, they had to go back to what was already done. Now they came up with something new, and now they're going to conclude whether it works with what was said previously or now it's a different avenue. So that's what research is about. And remember, a gap can be, there's a gap in literature, meaning not many people have researched that area, that topic, or there's a gap in the sense that there is a problem and there's no solution yet. So you can, before you start doing your research, you have that gap. So as you do the reading and the research, you're going to figure out, okay, there's no solution. So then you just conclude, okay, I agree. Or you can say there is a solution. So I disagree with what they said. Does that make sense? Sort
Yes, it does. It does, you know, because you see, I'm thinking, what if, and then you did the research and then you made some information, find that the ones paper you missed it, and then you ended up supporting. Whereas there is, which says that when you're doing your literature review, you couldn't, you know, find anything. But if it is a statement, there's someone who's doing it, and then they could pick up something that you didn't. You know.
Again, it
But
depends.
I understand.
It depends on your method. So you're going to support your research method, and that's why you got to that answer. And someone maybe have a different research method, doing the same research, and they get to a different answer. Have you seen the research where they do research on research methods? There is such research. That could even be research. So people using a qualitative versus a quantitative with the same issue and what their results are and how it differs. That's just, we are all unique. You will never have the same outcomes for every single study.
No, not certain.
But you can
Yes.
come and speak to me. We can take your topic and take it further. Happy to help.
Thanks.
There's a hand online.
Hi, Miss
I'm
Olive.
so sorry. Yes.
Hi. I just have a different question. So the current course that we are doing, do you perchance know if the modules, are there any prerequisites? Or let's say you fail some modules this first semester, can I just move on and do the rest next semester? Or are there prerequisites?
There are no prerequisites.
Okay, great.
Nothing mentioned. Yes.
Okay, so it means that I can just carry on whatever I don't pass this semester, I can do it next year.
Yes. Just do
Okay.
it the next year. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ma'am, if I can interject, she's not talking about my subject, the most important subject. She is going to pass the subject, except for one. All my students got their DP. I'm still going to follow up on that student. So talk about that DP and the course mark and the final mark, ma'am, if you can as well, if you don't mind. It's coming from me, they don't listen to me, but coming from the head of department, I think it'll mean more. And
So-
what it means to get a distinction on a 75% and what it means to just get 50% pass.
Okay, so your DPs means you've worked throughout the semester, you have gained the knowledge that puts you in a good position to pass your exam. We do not want to set students up for failure. So if you haven't written test 1, test 2, or attended class, whatever, you'll have a 0 or a very low DP. So if you go and write exam with that level of knowledge, we don't expect you to pass because you haven't continuously engaged with the content. So that's the reason and the importance of a DP from my perspective. Then if you get a 50%, think of when you go to the doctor and they need to do an operation. Do you want the doctor who got 50% or the doctor who got 75%?
They're laughing
just-
here, ma'am.
Yes. So just, I always use that. Just think of that. So yes, having 50% you passed. Okay. But then I don't think you've got the relevant knowledge to be the best that you can be. So it's better to go for a 75 and you want to be that person when they read out your name and then they say cum laude. So
Yes,
that we
yes,
can
yes.
so that we can give you a nice clap and then we know you've engaged with the material. It's not to say if you only get 50, you don't have the capacity, because sometimes students are lazy and sometimes you don't understand. But what I always tell my kids as well is asking is free. You don't suffer in silence. That's why you have your lecturers, you have the support system. If you are struggling with something and you don't ask, that's on you. But ask. It is free and everyone is there to assist you.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Ask and thou shalt receive. I think that's a
Yes.
spiritual scripture. Isn't that
Yes.
the Letu? Letu is spiritually inclined.
Yes.
You know, okay. Right. Oh, that's an excellent question. We are out of. Oh, we got a question online, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have another question. So let's just say I would love to do my master's, but I don't meet the requirements of 60%. What advice would you give someone who is experiencing that, but they would love to really do their master's, but they don't meet the requirements?
Unfortunately, we can't do anything for you. What you then need to do, if it's just one module perhaps that you need to up your marks, then I don't know the process yet, to maybe request for a special exam just to up that marks, but don't quote me on this. I know it's recorded. I'm just going to disclaimer. I don't know if that is allowed, but I know the previous university where I was, you could request for a special exam just to up your average percentage. But unfortunately, because we've got so many applications, we have to go on the mark system to ensure that we give those students that did adhere to the requirements, we give them first option.
Ma'am, if I
Thank you.
could just come in as well to answer the special exam.
Yes.
The rule for the special, I've been here a couple of years,
Yes,
a little
you'll
bit
know.
longer than, right? So a student who misses an examination for reasons of ill health, or if there's special circumstances like a death in the family, they are afforded the opportunity to write a special exam. We call it a special exam, not a supplementary exam.
Yes.
And there's another rule that goes, if it is the last outstanding subject. So let's say, for instance, you studied for 5 subjects, you've passed 4, and you did not pass the 5th subject. And that is holding you back from graduating. Then you qualify for a special exam. It doesn't matter what your mark is. But I got to warn the students that they should not even think about that. They must aim for passing all at one go, because a special exam is a difficult exam. Even my supplementary exam, I'm telling you now, it's difficult because you are having a second opportunity to write. And lecturers feel that if you're getting a second opportunity, then that paper should be a little more difficult. In fact, I've got more essay questions in the supplementary than in the main exam. The other point about a special exam is that some rules, I'm not sure which department, they tend to apply the 50% rule. I know engineering does. Yeah, ma'am is agreeing with me. So if you had to write a special exam, you're going to be capped at 50%. Doesn't matter you studied your heart out and you scored 75. So that's another concern to take into account with the special exam. But my students should not be worried about that. That is why I got ma'am early. You've got 6 months, you've got another semester of studying to do. You've got a couple of weeks before the exam. Give it your best shot to ensure that you pass and you do extremely well. Because as much as we say 50% is okay or 40%, when you are graduating, they will give you not just your certificate, but they'll also give you a course listing with percentage marks that you received in each one. Ma'am, am I right? Yeah. So a prospective employer would want to see that, will ask for your CV. They may just ask for your marks as well, or they'll contact DUT and ask us, give us a student record, and we will have to include your marks. So if you had to put down that you had written an exam, you wrote the supplementary, and then you failed and you had to write a special exam, what do you think a prospective employee would look at and say, hey, look at the student. Yes, they are trying, but there's somebody else who passed the exam and one got 75% and above, you know? Oh, that's the other rule about a special exam. Let's say, for instance, you passed the exam and your DP was above 60, but your overall mark was below, I'm not sure the exact wording it is, but you qualify for a special exam. So there's about 3 conditions for the special exam. But I'm not going to worry about that, ma'am, because my students are passing at one go, right? You're going to be asking me, why are there so many distinctions, which they are, they're going to be, right?
But also for the special exam, the results come out so late.
Yes.
You can just, I don't want to say redo the qualification,
Yes.
but I did the dates yesterday, and it's only like March, April, where
Yes.
Exco sits and
Yes.
approves those marks. So
Yes.
it's not Jan and it's done and it's over. It prolongs everything in any case.
Yes.
So it's just something you guys need to take into account. And I think you answered the question in the chat with your explanation of the special exam. They posed it to me, but you did answer it. Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Yes. No, that's so true about the special exam. Let me tell you what happens if you write the special exams. You're not graduating in May. You are graduating in September. That's like a whole year not graduating, not getting your certificate, not applying for a job with, with your grad certification. Yeah, great. That's right. It's 5 to 9. I also have to talk to them. We have to take our class photograph. It's our last photograph, last day, you know. And do you all have any more questions for ma'am? I don't want to keep ma'am too long. Ma'am, you passed, you did your master's while you were married, you have kids, a family, and all that, ma'am, and you were working as well.
Yeah, my PhD as well. PhD I did in 2 years, part-time.
2 years. With family commitments as well, ma'am? Did you hear that, students? You didn't hear that. Oh, she's lying, right?
And
So
I didn't have a granny that looked after my kids.
And if I may ask, I'm not being too personal. Were your kids small, or they big, or they out and they were gone out to your university?
Small.
There. So, by the way, in my postgrad class, I have lots of mothers and fathers as well. They're laughing. Right? Oh, okay. With husbands as well. Yeah. Right? Okay.
With wives.
Oh, with wives. Ooh, Sydney's got wives, more than one. Ma'am, there's another quick question. Go ahead.
Yes. Online, you can ask the question.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I would like to ask, what would you advise for a person who'd like to become a lecturer? Would you advise that person to start, like for myself? Let me make an example with myself. Would you advise that person to start with their masters, or maybe have a certification like CIA?
Okay, so if you want to become a lecturer, the rule at DUT is you need to have a master's and or a PhD. So the appointments are being it's the same with admission for masters. You need to have at least 60. So now if you want to be considered for a lecture position at DUT, you need to have at least a master's, and it's going to go up to a PhD. And I have to tell you, it's across all institutions worldwide that it's now it's starting to get to be a requirement. So I would suggest, specifically if you want to be a DUT, they will not even consider you unless you've got a master's. But then, I mean, I can't speak to other institutions, but you'll see all the adverts says a master's and then some experience. And I know at DUT, if you don't have a master's, they will not even consider you as an assistant. So for you to get that experience, you need to have a master's. So the master's becomes very, very, very important. And because especially if you want to pursue an academic career.
I take
Yeah.
that as a compliment,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
She's looking at me as being her lecturer, and now she wants to emulate me and follow in my footsteps. So thank
But-
you.
Yeah, but no one can replace you.
Ah,
One in a
thank you, ma'am.
million.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Right. It's almost 9 o'clock. I said half an hour. I'm so happy that you had so many questions. Online, one last time, going, gone. Any questions from the online audience? No questions. From my face-to-face, in-person class? Quickly, ask a question. No questions. All right. Yes, no questions. Oh, okay, ma'am. On behalf of who wants to move the vote of thanks? Who wants to speak?
I'm not good with that.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking your Saturday morning. I know you had to get up early, and my students were here. I'm going to invite you to all my lectures. Even if you don't come, then they know that they have to be here. So I got a very good attendance. It's being recorded. I'll share my recording with you. Ma'am, you don't mind going on YouTube, huh?
No, it's fine.
Oh, excellent, excellent, because my videos go to YouTube. Right. And ma'am, just to remind you, on Monday, this is a little bit of news for us. We have a meeting scheduled because I want to introduce my students to Audit Command Language. That's software that allows auditors to pick up abnormalities on a spreadsheet or data that happens. And DUT has that software license, but my students are not registered for that. And I want my students to have more than just their certification. By the way,
Yes.
that's what we do. We do micro credentials, ma'am. We talk of having certificates so that we include that in the CV. And Audit Command is something that we'd like to do next semester. That's over and above what my syllabus is, ERP, SAP, S4HANA. So I'd love it if you could come, ma'am. I know I'm putting you on the spot with all my students and presence, and you're going to be recorded. So that's to follow up. And thank you very much for your knowledge, and more especially for your support. That's what our students need, and for continuing with their postgrad studies. I'd love it if all my students get entry into masters, and they are going to work very hard. I can assure you. My students, they're aiming for distinction. We're not just aiming for passing the course, right? And they know the value of a postgraduate study. So with that, class, let's give ma'am a lovely warm round of applause.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I don't want you to stay a little longer because we're going to talk some revision and all the people that came late with their screenshots and their certifications. So I don't
Okay.
want that to be recorded, right? So,
Okay.
ma'am, you have a lovely Saturday.
Thanks, you
and
guys
hopefully
too.
I'll see you on Monday. I think it's online. I did forward you the email. Read from the bottom up. Right.
Okay,
Thank
I
you,
will.
ma'am. Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
guys.
Prof.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Right. That was the Prof. That was the